I was just looking through the comments on my travel video that I put out of my holiday through Western Canada, and it's incredible how many times you guys asked me if I shot the video on a gimbal and what gimbal that was. The answer is yes, I did shoot a lot of that video on the gimbal, and as far as which one it was, that's what we're going to talk about today. What is up, people? Dunna here, and today we're going to be talking about the flagship gimbal from FeiyuTech, the AK4500. But not only are we going to be talking about it, we're also going to be giving one away. So make sure to head down to the comment section and let me know if you won this gimbal, what would you use it for? And then make sure to stick around to the end of the video so you can find out how you can enter. Just going to get this out of the way. Much better, more room for activities. First off, this may look very familiar to you if you saw my previous video about the FeiyuTech AK4000 and AK2000, and that's because this is in the same family. It has a lot of the same functionality, so you may know a lot about this gimbal already. However, there are a lot of very significant upgrades that they made for this model that I'm really excited to talk about. Let's talk basics. First off, this gimbal is a large gimbal. It's 1.6 kilograms, which is a little bit less than the Ronin S, but still a fairly hefty weight. But with that size, you get the crazy payload capacity of 4.6 kilograms, which is over 10 pounds. So your camera setup can be over 10 pounds and this gimbal should be able to handle it. And in my experience, those strong motors that are in this gimbal definitely shine through even with a smaller setup. On my trip when I was using my A6400 on this gimbal, it had no problem. It always felt like it was super strong and getting super smooth footage. And that's really what a gimbal is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to give you smooth footage. As far as price goes, this gimbal goes for $749 US, which is $50 more than the Ronin S standard package, or $50 more than the AK4000, but you are getting a lot more in this package. I've left a purchase link down in the description if you want to go check it out or purchase it. Now that might seem a little bit expensive, especially considering the AK2000 and AK4000 were so affordable in this line, but I think there's a good reason for that. When you purchase this gimbal, you're not just buying the gimbal. Within that price, you're getting the gimbal and the follow focus unit, which from DJI, if you were to buy theirs, you'd have to pay an extra $169 US, and you're getting this hyperlink controller, which is really interesting. The hyperlink controller looks similar to the handle that's on the gimbal itself, except like a smaller version, and it allows you to wirelessly control the gimbal, not only by using the joystick, but also just by moving it itself. And there are a lot of other things that you can do with this, but to be honest, it didn't really work into my workflow, so I didn't get a lot of use out of it. So it's kind of like a cool little extra thing that you get. And again, that's part of the purchase price. That's not something you have to buy extra. Now, besides all the extras, the big selling point for this series of gimbals for me is the touchscreen. You can use the touchscreen for so many functions, and it can save a lot of the headache that you would get with other gimbals. Most importantly, you don't need to use the app. All of these gimbals come with an app that you can connect them to that gives you extra functionality, but almost everything is bundled right into this touchscreen without ever having to connect my phone, which I really like. Changing modes is a snap with the touchscreen. You can change the payload settings, you can calibrate the gimbal. There's so much you can do with it. In the menus, they've got the default, the smooth, and the action mode, just like they did on the other gimbals. But in this one, they've got a custom mode that allows you to set your own motor follow speeds as well as dead zones, which is something that I think they were seriously lacking in the AK2000 and 4000. It caused me a couple of problems while I was using them. But my absolute favorite part of having the touchscreen has to be the auto rotation mode, which apparently since a firmware upgrade, they've changed the name to a motion time-lapse. Using auto rotation, or motion time-lapse now, allows you to make pre-saved moves with your camera for either motion time-lapses or for moving videos. I used this a whole bunch in that video when I wanted to be in the shot, but I still wanted there to be some camera movement. All I did was I kept the time setting so that it would make a 30-second move. I put dwell to 0 seconds so that it would make one continuous move without stopping. Set my start point, set my end point, hit OK, and it's going for 30 seconds. Still going. Okay, let's skip this. Also, in motion time-lapse mode, there's a use last setting, which is really nice if you want to make repeated moves. Two other new functions are the 360 rotation mode, which you may know as Inception mode from some other gimbals, and portrait mode. And apparently since the new firmware upgrade, they changed the name to Inception mode, so now it's even easier to keep track of. Inception mode automatically puts it in flashlight mode, and then you can do these rotations. The nice thing is that you can set the speed and you can choose to do a single rotation, or you can choose for it to rotate until you tell it to stop. Portrait mode is also a pretty cool addition since there's so much vertical video happening nowadays. The only downside is that in order to get to portrait mode, you have to tilt the gimbal like this, and then you can turn it. If you try and go up like this, it won't work because of the back tilted motor. So if you're gonna try and do some selfie portrait mode videos, it would be a little tough. Something like that. Getting that arm workout in. Another cool function of the touchscreen is that you can actually control some of the settings of your camera, including ISO, exposure compensation, and your white balance if you connect it properly and go through the app. It's really not that difficult to connect, although I basically never do it, and it is going to depend on what camera you have. There's a compatibility list up on FeiyuTech's site. Like the AK2000 and AK4000, we've got the nice rubber grip that I really like, and it's also got this customizable function wheel that if it's not being used for the follow focus motor, you can use it to move the camera itself. So sometimes that's really nice to fix the horizon if you want, or if you want to tilt the camera, that can be really handy. I use this a lot. Also, like the AK4000, we get the extension handle, which is very handy. But like I said before, there are a couple of things that they improved significantly about this gimbal over the AK2000 and AK4000. First off, the handle slash tripod that they give you to attach to the bottom is significantly improved on this one. In the previous ones, they had this metal thing and it wasn't very nice to hold on to when it was folded up. They also give you this, which they call the versatile handle frame. It's a detachable piece where you can connect either the extension handle, the tripod handle, or the extra controller, and you can use that to go into underslung mode easily. When you're carrying this gimbal, having the tripod stand and switching it back and forth between the bottom position and this position makes it so much easier to carry. When I was traveling, I would put the bottom handle into this position and carry it around, and because of the 12-hour battery, I would actually leave it on and not have to worry about it. Because the gimbal is doing the balancing, it actually makes it easier to carry. Let's get this out of the way again so it's not hitting me in the face. As far as mounting and balancing the camera, they've also made some significant improvements. They've added a second tier to their quick release system that has a plate that attaches directly to your camera, so once the gimbal is balanced, you can attach and detach the camera without having to rebalance anything, which is really nice, especially if you're on the go. If you caught my video about the AK2000 and AK4000, you'll know how much I love this lens support. It has wheels on it, so no matter if it's touching the focus ring or the zoom ring, it's still gonna work just fine. And probably one of the most important things, and something that I mentioned in that other video, they actually added locks to each of the motors, which makes it so much easier not only to balance, but also to store. By being able to lock each axis, you can work on balancing only one at a time, which makes it so much simpler. And it locks in two different positions. For balancing, you'd want to lock them in upright mode like this, so it's ready to go. But if you're just carrying it around, or if you want to pack it up, it actually has another lock position. Now the gimbal itself is slimmer, so it can be packed away easier. Just don't forget to unlock it before you try and turn it back on again, because that's pretty bad for the motors. And just like the other AK series gimbals, the handle can actually be fully detached so that it's even smaller when you're trying to pack it away in a backpack or wherever you want. That detachable handle can also be attached to their dual grip ring handle and controlled from one of your hands while you're using their dual grip. I do have the dual grip, but I haven't had a chance to test it out, so maybe we'll save that for another video. So as for my thoughts on the FeiyuTech AK4500, I really love the functionality and the power that this gimbal has, and I love some of the new features that they've added into this one that weren't in the other ones. It really does seem like FeiyuTech listened to the users and added some things that were needed to make it a better gimbal. And if you're looking for a gimbal that has a follow focus or maybe some functionality that you get out of that extra remote, this is the one to go with. Should we give one of these things away? I think we should do that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you would do with this gimbal if you won it. Then head to the description. There's a link down there that'll take you to the instructions and allow you to enter the giveaway. There are multiple ways to enter, so make sure you do as many as you can to improve your chances. I'll announce the winner in about a week on my email list and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere that I can, so make sure to go enter quickly to get your chance to win. Thanks so much to FeiyuTech for supplying the giveaway prize, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.